Welcome to Sam Outside. I'm Sam and I'm outside. I'm outside on a morning walk. So the walk is the key to my success, to my well-being, physically, mentally, emotionally. And it has to do more with not necessarily the walk. We've got so many benefits to walking. So that walk is compounded, all right? Maybe it's the best word for it. It is supported by small decisions I make. It's when I walk, it's where I walk, it's how I walk, and why I walk. All right, so when I walk, first of all, I'm out here with that guy, all right? So he's one of the primary reasons for why I walk, but I'm a dog owner, and he's a border collie. He's 5 years old, and he needs it. All right, I feel the difference as a pet owner, as a fur friend, advocator, ambassador, owner, lover, that if he doesn't get his morning walk, yeah, he's not the same animal throughout the day. All right, and I have to go to work, and he's in the house, quite sedentary. So in order to keep him healthy and happy, yeah, I walk the dog. But I'm out here this morning within an hour of waking. It's that first hour of waking that is a game changer. All right, so when we wake, it's when our body naturally produces the highest amount of cortisol. That's right. So a lot of that has to do with the body's lack of food. Right, we've just come off a fast, or we're still in a fast. So that's when your body is preparing for, or the production is a result of the stress of not having the calories, not having the food, right? And in that transition from deep rest into alert, right? And so that is another cause for it. So it's a preparatory mechanism for the challenges that come with a living day, all right? So walking within the first hour of waking has additional benefits. Now, it's also about the morning light, right? So I want to get the sun when it's slightly lower on the horizon, so I can get very specific wavelengths, right? So it's that red light. I've got other videos on that, and I mean, it's a little bit more of a challenge at this time of year. I've been a week, maybe more than a week now, with an air quality advisory. So it's not overcast. Well, it's just a perpetual haze, and it lasts throughout the day. So it feels like we're overcast or foggy, but no, it's just air quality. So the wildfires that are burning to the west of us, and slow moving air systems, it just seems to be omnipresent. So I'm not getting the same red light therapy that I would normally encounter on my morning walks. But that's another reason why I walk in the morning. So I will go on another walk in the afternoon, and that has a different intention, a different effect on my body as I decompress from a work day and start to prepare for family time and those rituals and routines, those connections. So it's also this time of day where I find a little more movement in nature, right? So it's a different kind of bird song at this time of day. We've got different movement patterns in our wildlife, right? And the activity on the lake or on the river is a little different at this time of day than it will be late afternoon when I might have a need to walk the dog again. So they're all small choices, small factors in the walk that I take, right? And I'm choosing not to walk along the road, right? That'd be the easier path, but the walk in nature, again, as a certified forest therapy guide and someone who advocates and believes and is an example of how positive nature exposure and nature connection, nature therapy is for the human body, human mind, human spirit, right? All those things, again, small choices compounding the benefits of my walk, right? So the how I walk is with intention, and it's mindful. So while I'm walking in nature at this time of day, being very aware of the sounds, of the birds, of the air, of the water, of my own body. Aware of the smells, right? Earthy tannins coming up, right? A little bit of the dew still on the ground despite how dry it is. Right. Definite smells as even the vegetation prepares and is receiving its first light after rest. There's a smell to it. And then there are just the colors, right? After being deprived of that and in sleep, coming out and having this exposure and the contrasts. And again, that's the breaking up of fractals, the patterns, and the movement. All of that stimulates. And again, as I walk in nature intentionally, the lateral eye movement, engaging both hemispheres of my brain, right? So small intentions and being aware of that awareness and mindfulness will stick with me throughout the rest of my workday. Makes me a better employee, makes me a better manager, and that scope and scale of my presence, my impact on the walk follows me through the rest of my day. And how I walk in nature at this time of day can also change the health benefits as I choose terrain. I've got a number of different paths that I will take. Some of them are easier to navigate than others. So the choice of how I walk, choosing paths that have terrain. So I've got some, I wouldn't call them technical. There's rarely a need for 3 points of contact, but it definitely does change as I navigate up hills, and I will charge them, right? I will increase my pace, increase my stride, engage different muscle groups. And on the downside, or on the down slope, downhill, change the way I step just for my own safety, engaging different muscle groups, right? Rather than the 20 minutes, a half hour of walking along the road, which doesn't really change cadence, pace, engaging different muscle groups, right? So that is a change. How I walk changes the benefits of my morning walk. My choice of footwear as well, right? I'm not wearing a hiking boot at this time of year. Don't have to worry about insulation or cold. I'm really just ultimately concerned about protection. I don't want to get cut. So I've been known, and I've shown it on this format, that I'll wear a Kevlar sock, right? 5-fingered sock. It's more than just a sock. It's made of Dyneema or Spectra, and it is actually, it's cut proof. So through that act, I'm actually grounding, all right? So I don't have any rubber insulating my body's bioelectric circuitry from the electrical impulses of this planet. So I'm reconnecting. And that theory of grounding, that practice of earthing, does have an effect on my body, circulatory system, nervous system, my internal processes, my metabolism, my digestion. So small changes in how I walk. And today I'm actually wearing what's known as a barefoot shoe, right? So I do have an aggressive tread, again, just for my own safety, because I am going to be charging some terrain. I want to know that I've got traction, I've got grip. So, but it is a thin, we're talking 5 millimeters of grip, but the footbed, more specifically the toe bed, doesn't have that traditional walking shoe or athletic shoe design. It's quite a broad toe, all right? So the idea there is that my foot skeleton can actually expand and, get that elastic motion, right, of moving the way the foot needs to in nature. So just those small changes in how I walk, what I'm choosing to walk in, adds to the benefits of this morning walk mindfully in nature. Yeah. And then getting into the habit of rucking. Yeah. An extra 40 pounds because 6 months ago, this was just me naturally. But small changes in my diet, in my sleep, in my intentionality, so many other aspects of my life, slowly and intentionally reducing my body weight while adding strength, adding to my longevity, to my brain, heart, lung, and skeletal health. So yeah, rucking is an active part of how I walk. I don't do it in every walk, not yet. I don't think I'll ever get there, but yeah, doing it every once in a while, and I feel the benefits. You're listening to the benefits, right? Whew. All right, so it's that terrain, right? So small changes to my walk, and then why I walk. It's just so healthy, all right? It's low impact rather than taking a jog or taking a run. I've been known to do that from time to time, right? Just to elevate my heart rate, work on my CO2 exchange. But there are things I can do on my walk that will compound the effects of just walking. And some of that is how I choose to tackle terrain, so small choices. But from time to time, I will interval walk. So I'll change my pace, which affects my stride, which it changes my cadence. And so I'll go 3 minutes at a slow pace, switch it up to 3 minutes at a faster pace, right, despite the terrain. And I'll do that through 5 intervals, right? So that's the interval walking. So 3 slow, 3 fast, 3 slow, 3 fast. And, you know, that does affect my circulatory system, my CO2 exchange. And in walking backwards, right, I've got a video on that. Maybe not in this terrain, right, for my own safety, but I do have more open stretches, more flat terrain. Hey, and if I can get 100 to 200 steps backwards, oh, the changes it makes to the different muscle groups engaged. But more importantly, that walking backwards also is beneficial to your cognitive ability. Your brain just naturally frames and scales the natural world. And when you do it backwards, you've got to do a little bit more lateral movement, which has its own benefits. But when I can walk backwards, what it does to my posture, what it does to engage different muscle groups so that the strengthening is there, what it does for my cognitive ability, again, just adds to the benefits, something you wouldn't get from, you know, just choosing to go on a jog. For me, it's not about my steps, right? Yeah, I get them, but I can exponentially increase the effect of fewer steps with how I walk. The intentionality is a huge part of it, right? Being mindful, being present, using all my senses, right? And then we can get into breath work. Yeah, right. So we can get into some metabolic changes when I restrict my breathing. All right. So inhaling slowly, holding while I'm exercising, right? Changing your metabolic rate, increasing your capacity, your endurance, your resiliency, right? Adding to your benefits. So I don't have a lot of time on these morning walks. It's part of my morning routine. Yeah, I could get up earlier, but rather than adding time, I can change the way I walk, where I walk, what I'm walking in, right? The shoes, the vest. So all these small changes, they add up, they add up, add up. You can't do it all at once. Oh man, yeah, you'll regret it. So making these small changes over time, and right. So I work outside. Yeah, working in camping and outdoor education, I'm just outside, but I'm not getting the benefits of being outside because I don't have the intentionality and I don't have those opportunities for small tweaks. I'm not going to spend my workday in this vest. I might not even spend the workday in my barefoot shoes, my barefoot socks, right? It's just not conducive to safe working. It's not mentoring, right? It's not leading responsibly when I've got to promote the use of PPE. So the walking has amazing benefits, physically, mentally, emotionally, but making those small changes to when I walk, how I walk, where I walk, why I walk, they all compound the benefits that already exist with a normal, what we call stroll in the park, all right? Doing that alone has amazing benefits. And we're not just talking about weight loss, because the number on the scale isn't the factor. Walking will target visceral fat, right? It's that belly fat, right? That spare tire. That's where walking really helps. And if you do it after you eat, promoting digestion, right? So if you can walk 5 to 10 minutes after a meal, again, really compounding the metabolic rate, and that'll help you digest and that'll help you lose weight. But because it's also exercise, you're also going to be strengthening, right? And depending on intensity, duration, those intentional efforts, changes for interval walking or walking backwards, your terrain, all those things are going to add muscle. So that is going to affect the scale, right? So you're going to be losing some and then maybe gaining some. And so you might not see a change on the scale, but you're going to see it in measurements. You're going to see it in your resiliency, lung capacity, heart rate, blood pressure. So those are the numbers you want to be looking at. So I don't take it for granted. I do remind myself, and I remind those other people in our family that we've made choices. I've made choices in my life to work outside, to be outside. I live rurally, and not just, it's one thing to live out of the city, but it's another to live rurally. So I burn firewood, which means splitting firewood. I have a garden, so I can eat foods that I know and understand. The process, the appreciation, the patience, the work it takes to have a garden, right? And it's not just vegetables, it's not just fruit, it's not just berries, right? It's a lot of herbs, it's a lot of perennials, a lot of things that I'm going to harvest and need to support my gut health, my brain health, my muscle health in the winter when I won't have my flourishing garden, right? And then there's this forest itself that is just so full of life, and they all have uses and benefits depending on what part and when and how it is harvested and prepared. So being outside has changed my life, and it's a way of living, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing through this format. Walking is a big part of how I intentionally choose to live outside. All right? It's not for everybody, but everybody has access to it. Might just require a little more effort. Start by getting out your door. Start by doing a little research and finding out, committing to visiting a local park, visiting a local conservation area a couple times a month. It's about exploring parks near you, outdoor spaces, learning more about them, what's in them, who's responsible, and how you can intentionally, mindfully experience those outdoor spaces. That's where the true healing comes in. That's what changes your life. So please go outside. Again, thank you for your support, your viewing, your connections. I appreciate it. I'm a lucky man for having the capacity to do it. I know that. So again, thanks for watching. Go outside. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.